Hi, and welcome to the Creating Your Happy podcast. I'm Teresa, and I'm your host. Here, we talk about everything, from mental health to navigating parenthood and trials that we all go through in life, having faith over fear, and finding our best and happiest selves. Here, we are authentic and real, so if you're ready, let's get into it. Hey guys, are you ready to start your own podcast? All right, so I have a little bit of tips for you. If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need all in one place. All right, let me explain. So Anchor has tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer, which is what I do. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so much more. And it's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place. Best of all, Anchor is totally free. Go right now if you're ready to start your podcast and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. ANCHOR.FM. Good luck, guys, and happy podcasting. Hello, friends. It's been a while. I feel like I've started the last few episodes like that. I don't even remember the last time I did an episode. But here we are. My last episodes were about consistency, and that just didn't work out for me. But I will tell you why. So, where to start? Like I said, I actually don't even remember how long ago it's been since I talked on here, or honestly on any social media platforms, because I was talking all the time, every week on here, and then every 2 weeks, and then on social media pretty much every day. But not only has my life drastically made a huge shift, but I have felt like I've had this fog over me for like the last few months, which if you've had that feeling, it's so crazy. It just doesn't even feel like you're just going through life every day, just kind of like foggy and not really feeling like you have a purpose. Not like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying like I don't have a purpose in life, but like it just feels like this weird fog, like just every day is just kind of the same routine. And I had that for a few months, which is kind of weird. But let's just be real, guys, life has been crazy. It's been pretty crazy. And so I want to back up to like September because it is now the end of January. And I'm going to go back to September and just kind of start my story there. My beautiful cousin got married, and I was lucky enough to be part of that. So if anyone has been in a wedding or been part of a wedding or even just kind of just like talked about or, got married, you can just remember how hectic that month was. And, it's just all wedding stuff all month long. So that obviously took up my entire month, which was great. And then comes October. And if you haven't followed me in the last few years, I turned 35 years old in July. And I've been working on this podcast and my merch line and everything for the last almost 2 years. Actually, next month, I think, is 2 years that I have had this podcast. Um, and helping my husband build his business and doing my own business. So busy is really an understatement for the past 2 years, right? Well, the craziest thing, now amazing blessing, happened to me at 35 years old with a whole life planned. And I'm a control freak. If you know, you know. Um, and it just turned my whole world upside down. And not to mention having a 14-year-old teenage girl, and a 7-year-old son. I found out Mama is starting over. So I'm pregnant. Literally the last thing that I ever thought would happen. My husband and I were definitely done having babies. Um, our kids are again 14 and 7, so very far apart. And like I said, last thing that I thought would happen, especially at my age. So 35 and pregnant is very different than 28 and pregnant, or I was 20 and pregnant with my daughter. Um, it's just a whole nother life. And, you have these doctors like advanced maternal age starting at 35, and you're high risk because you're 35 and over, which I think, excuse my language, but is complete bullshit because I'm a pretty healthy person in general. If you've been following me for a while, you know that I am very big on health. I'm health conscious. I was doing pretty good in, exercising and being consistent with that for quite some time. Um, Probably the last like 6 years. And I mean, I've had my months where I've fallen off and whatever. And before I found out I was pregnant, I actually had some health issues going on. So I was not as consistent as I was before that. But again, I'm a healthy person. I eat pretty good for my body because my body doesn't let me not eat pretty good because if not, I feel like crap. But it's just crazy that you turn 35 and you're all of a sudden advanced maternal age. And so you have all this stigma that's just like attached to you, like without even knowing anything about your health or anything. Like, I'm not diabetic, I'm not pre-diabetic, my blood work is perfect. Um, everything just came back fine. So I don't understand why they do that or they say that. It's really annoying. And if you can't tell, it irritates me quite a bit. So before you say or think, well, don't you know how that happens? Because I obviously wasn't planning for that. Obviously, I know, guys. But I have endometriosis and I haven't gotten pregnant in like 7 years. So with my age and endometriosis and everything, I didn't think it was possible. I also didn't take into consideration that I had surgery last year and they removed all the endometriosis that they could find. And, there we go. It just cleared it all out. And it's just, bam, I'm pregnant. So that is what has been kind of keeping me away from all this for the last couple months because I today am 18 weeks pregnant. We found out yesterday that we are having another boy, so we're very excited. And it is all very exciting. I definitely believe in babies are blessings and things like that. But to be honest, guys, like I'm going to be completely transparent with you. My husband and I, when we found out at first, we weren't excited like we are now. I've been thinking a lot on that and I have a lot of guilt about it. And I realized that it's okay that we had those feelings and it's okay that, we felt the way we felt for a short time because to be real, like we had an entire life planned. Like our daughter will be going to college in, I mean, 4 years. She's starting high school this coming school year. And our son would be pretty much our only child. So we wanted to travel and, we just kind of thought like, oh, we'll just bring like one of our son's friends with us or whatever and, travel and do things that we've always wanted to do. And his business is growing every day and eventually he was going to retire me out of hair and I've been doing hair for going on 15 years and I just feel like I felt like I was going to be done and I was actually going to be able to do something that I've been wanting to do for the last few years that I never thought was possible and go to school and do some things that were really going to fulfill my heart and just I think is my purpose. And it's so different because it's this I don't want to say curveball because it makes this baby sound like such a burden and it's not a burden. He is not a burden. We are so in love with him already and we are just so excited, but in the beginning it was hard. It was really hard to know that, again, I have major anxiety. I'm very bad at being controlling, but I've been working on it for the past few years and I've definitely been better. I'm a little bit more go with the flow than I used to be, but this kind of thing obviously drastically changed my life. It changed my plans, it changed everything, and did throw a curveball in our plans. So traveling and all that, we can still do it, yes, but instead of having one older kid, we're gonna have an older kid and a younger kid and then a kid in college. So it's so crazy, but in hindsight, like I do feel guilty about not having I see these videos of the wife telling the husband she's pregnant and she's so happy and she's crying and she's happy and she's just like he's so excited, and unfortunately that's not how I felt at first. And my husband was so supportive and just like there for me every step of the way, and he knows that I've worked so hard, from being a single mom with my daughter to us meeting and getting married and having our son, and where we were in the beginning of our relationship to where we are. We've worked so hard and we've both sacrificed so much. And let's be real, like finances definitely play a big part in raising kids. And we have a 3 bedroom, 1,500 square foot house, and my kids have their own rooms, and they're too old for me to be like, well, you have to share a room with your baby brother. So, that's something also. And our cars are, they fit just enough with our 4 people that we had, with this baby, there's 5 and it fits perfect, right? But like, now we have car seats and strollers and all the things that comes with babies. So it's just a big change, but I've prayed about it so much and just told God, like, give me the guidance as a mom, give me the wisdom as a mom. And I just feel that I feel strong. I don't feel afraid to start over, which is so weird because with Noah, I was terrified to start over. Lily was going to be 7, and so he was born, and then she turned 7 right after he was born, a few months after he was born. So they're, a good amount of time apart. And just knowing that I was going to start over, I was terrified. And I didn't think like being 20, I think I was 28. Um, I mean, I was terrified. And now that I am older, I do believe if you're older, you're wiser because you do have a lot of more experience than being in your 20s or being, like in your early 20s or your late 20s, whatever. If you're in your 30s, you've had more experiences, more things that have taught you, like patience and understanding. And I feel like now I can look back and be like, my daughter had me as a very young, immature mom. My son had me as a little bit more, mature, and, I was less selfish, which that's a whole nother mom guilt thing that I have for my daughter. But you know what? She turned out to be a good girl, and she's a good, just a beautiful soul. And I take credit in that because, she is a lot like her mom, and but she is her own self. And, I have to take some credit, even though it's so hard, especially because if you know me personally, you know the kind of mom guilt that I carry. And I have an episode on that actually. In the beginning of my episodes, I do talk about mom guilt and how it affects us. But with my mom guilt, I was so young and immature, and I probably was selfish, but my daughter was always taken care of. She always had what she needed. I literally worked my ass off. I had 3 jobs at one point. Like I did what I had to do. Did I maybe make stupid decisions sometimes and, you know, do things that now I regret? Yes, I did. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or anything. I did things that I regret, and but my daughter was always taken care of. She was never with a stranger. She was, I did make sure she was always taken care of, which I do have to, you know, give myself credit for. And then my son, my husband and I planned him, and we were so excited and everything with him, and he was just such a blessing. And we were so thankful because of my endometriosis. I didn't know if I could get pregnant. But we were so blessed and we were thankful for our son. And, we had a little house, and by the time he was born, we were renting a little house, and He didn't have his own room, but that was okay. We had a two-bedroom house and we lived there for about 5 years. And then now we both have our own businesses. We are definitely more financially stable than we were with our son, or I obviously was with my daughter. And, it's just so different, the different like area of life that both of us are in right now. And my husband is working so hard in his business to grow and everything. And I'm, you know, doing my business and then helping him a little bit on the side. And eventually, our businesses are going to be bigger, I'm sure, that we can ever imagine because I just feel like we are so blessed in that way. It's going to take time, but I'm also so thankful that, we do own our own businesses because we will be able to, not have to put the baby in daycare and things like that. We can work opposite schedules and things like that. So, like, we are so thankful for these things that we have now because of our age and because of our, wisdom and our financial freedom and things like that. And we didn't have that with our son. So there are so many positives and blessings that I can say that we have. And, it took me a minute to realize that, everything's going to be okay. We've overcome everything, even unplanned situations. And this baby, yes, he is unplanned, but, I always feel like God knows what we need in our life. And that's what I think God just knew that we needed this baby. And I don't know why or the reasoning behind it, but you know what? My husband and I we feel very blessed with this new baby, and my kids are so excited, and my son especially is so excited to have a little brother because I feel like the last couple years he's been like, I want a little brother, I want a little brother. And we're like, no, mommy and daddy are not having any more babies. Maybe he knew something we didn't. But it's something that we are so thankful for. And that is the whole reason that I have been MIA from social media, TikTok, here, because in the beginning I was pretty sick. And if you have been pregnant and you have not had the most glorious pregnancies like me, you know that you're literally just surviving when you wake up in the morning and you just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna like throw my guts up. And, I also had to go to work, and some days I work 10-hour days and on my feet. So I just think that I was in survival mode, and now I'm so much better. This baby's being a lot nicer to me now, and I am again 18 weeks pregnant, and I just want to take you guys on this journey with me and still talk about like anything and everything like I always do, but I do want to touch base on a couple things in the next few episodes on being pregnant and over 35 because I have talked to so many people where they're like, yeah, why do they, label us like this and blah blah blah. And I've even talked to like doctors and nurses where they're like, I think it's ridiculous, like they need to change the age because there's so many women that are choosing to have babies later in life. And I think that's great. I mean, you're more financially stable, you've lived a lot of your life, and you're ready for a child. And I don't care if you're 35 or 40 or whatever, like, it's your choice. It's your life and it's your choice. So I want to touch on that in the next couple episodes. If you guys have anything you want to talk about or you want me to talk about regarding pregnancy or like things that you struggle with or anything like that, shoot me a message on Instagram or on TikTok or any of those, or you can even message me here on here. I also have an email at the bottom of my episode, so you guys can message me anywhere on there. But yeah, so I'm back again. I just feel like I say I'm back every few months, but I really do. I really miss this. I really miss like just talking to you guys, and like I hope I can get talking to some like into someone that feels the way I feel, or like I can connect with someone or just resonate with someone that's dealing with what I'm dealing with. And again, guys, it's okay to have feelings. It's okay to not be, thrilled if this was not your plan and this happens to you, or, it's okay to have those doubts or whatever you want to call them, because you're only human and you have your life and you think it's going to go one way and sometimes it doesn't. But just remember, God has a plan for you, and there is a reason for everything. There is a reason that something is not going your way, because you know what? Maybe if you went this way, something not great would happen. And if you went this way, something even better would happen. You never know. So that's how I'm choosing to look at my life in general. You can take it or leave it, but I'm so happy to be back, and I hope you guys have a great week. Talk to you soon.